I love Linkin Park. And we're actually at Linkin Park 2 weeks in a row, so I'm excited about that.
I like Linkin Park, though. I think their best work was when Jay-Z worked with them. Have you heard that album, the Jay-Z?
No, of course, I own
Fantastic.
That. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Granny's Peach Tea, episode 119 for those counting. We're opening up with a little Linkin Park here, what I've done off of the Minutes to Midnight album, but also the 2007 Transformers soundtrack. So that's going to be our movie of the day, because we are doing the Michael Bay run of live-action Transformers movies starting this week.
Yeah, we are. Here we are.
You sure are. Whatever you think of them, we're going to take a look back at them and see what's up. But we also have some other cool stuff. We got the premiere episodes of My Adventures of Superman, as it's dropped on. It's actually on Adult Swim at midnight on Thursdays. Yeah, exactly. And then it drops on Max the next day. So
wait, why is this on Adult? I mean, we'll get into it, but this is a fucking kids show. Why is this on Adult Swim at midnight?
I have no idea. But I thought it was interesting. So we got that. And of course, we have Secret Invasion episode 3, as that the MCU has their series going along. So we're excited to get into this. And happy Friday afternoon, Summer Friday for those who have that. Like myself, you get 1 o'clock on Fridays during the summer. You're free to go. So.
Wait, is it Friday? I lost track of what day it is. I've been on summer for about a week. My wife and son went away on vacation yesterday. I have no idea what day we're in, man. We're still in July, right?
I think so. Thanks for joining us. You can join us on the Facebook live stream, or YouTube, or Twitter, or Instagram, or wherever you found your audio-only podcast. With me, as always, is Jason. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? Good to be here this Friday afternoon. Look, I did a great disservice to this show last week when we covered The Room, because I slept on something which I should have, and I'm going to rectify that now. I forgot to show you guys my Johnny action figure.
Oh, my God.
It's a talking bobblehead Johnny action figure from The Room. I don't know what it says because I refuse to open it. This is a boxed one. I have a couple of boxed ones. My Christopher Reeve Superman's a boxed one. Weird ones from the Philippines my wife gets me. Those are boxed ones. But fun story behind this one. I have no idea how I got it. It just appeared at my house one day, addressed to me, with Tommy Wiseau underwear, because he has his own brand line of underwear. And I went, this is awesome. One of my friends must have sent me this as a gift because they know how much I love this. No one would cop to sending it. And I didn't order it because I checked my credit card statements and my bank account statements. So one of two things has happened. Either someone just sent me an anonymous gift and didn't want to tell me about it, in which case, thank you. Or I got really drunk one night and entered some contest I won and don't remember. Either one could be true.
I hope it's the latter. I actually hope that's what happened.
I do too, but I will never know. I mean, maybe because I used to interact with Tommy Wiseau on Twitter, but I can't imagine that I gave Tommy Wiseau my address on Twitter and he sent me this for no reason.
Oh my God, that would be priceless. Priceless, Jason.
I mean, it would be, but regardless, I have a fucking Tommy Wiseau action figure, and if you know my collection of action figures, it's superheroes and weird movie shit. Mm-hmm. And this is definitely weird movie shit.
Nice. Well, I know you told us about, I can't say me because that wouldn't make any sense. You underwears when we were actually watching it last week.
Did, I told you about me underwears.
You got to refer to it like that. It has to be.
He, Tommy Wiseau dropped the ball in not calling his line the Tommy Wiseau me underwears line. He dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah,
he wrote that line.
Or even. Did he write the line, or was that? What if it was improvised?
I don't know. You think Tommy Wiseau allows ad-libbing on his set, or you think he's like a script Nazi?
Ooh. My guess is I envision him letting improvising happen. I think he's like, oh, that's great, that's great, that's life.
Yeah,
that's life.
Yes, it's that's life. That's how it would go. You just say things and you react and you do it. That's life. Yeah, baby, go. You're right. That's exactly what he was saying.
That's the way I envision it. I could be completely wrong.
Oh, that's canon now. We'll never know. That's canon.
Listen, if Tommy Wiseau ever catches this when he's hanging out with David Hasselhoff and they watch Granny's Peach Tea together, definitely reach out and let us know how that goes.
Look, this is not a bit. This is serious. If anyone can get Tommy Wiseau in this program, I pledge, and Ed, you can't say no because I'm fucking doing these Transformers movies for you. So I pledge if Tommy Wiseau, well, all right, for the audience, if Tommy Wiseau comes on this show, we will have one full episode dedicated to his entire body of work, which is The Room, the 6-episode sitcom he did called The Neighbors, which used to be able to be found on Hulu, and a YouTube show that I believe I own on DVD that I bought, where he just plays and reviews video games. We will cover it all, Tommy, and it will be us just praising you and praising you. Come on the show.
He's also in Samurai Cop 2.
Is he really?
He is, which is why I almost don't want to watch that one, because that is them knowing they're trying to recreate, like they're being bad on purpose. Then
yeah, I don't like that. Like I remember I watched I started to watch Franklin Roosevelt Werewolf or something like that with Brian Bosworth, and it was like one of those wink wink nudge nudge, we know we're bad, and it's like, no, it's the artist's failure that makes a bad movie good for me.
Agreed. Yeah. Unless it's like a big budget thing, then I can be like, all right, fine. To an extent, I don't know. You have to toe that line.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But you can't be in on the joke too much.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, let's kick things off though. But before we get started, during this broadcast, you can support our page by sending us some digital stars, which is a gift that helps us earn money for Pop Culture Pros, because we are presented by Pop Culture Pros. So, all right, so just come hang out and let's talk some stuff. All right, so at first we are not done with Superman. We kind of thought we were for a second, but there was a mind slip that this show existed. But My Adventures with Superman dropped on Max.
And every time I think I'm out, you pull me back in.
Jason, what did you think? Because you kind of got hit with this morning out of nowhere.
I did. All right. So I'm of two minds of this, right? I'll give you my opinion as someone who watched it, and then I'll give you my opinion of someone who this is aimed at. Because this is a children's show. This is a cartoon for families. And as I have said many times, I don't really like cartoons like this. I don't like children's cartoons that I didn't watch as a kid because I don't have nostalgia for them. So, like, as for me, I didn't really care for this because it's pretty much like Superman Jr. and Lois Lane Jr. and Jimmy Olsen Jr. and they're all interns together, and it's the Superman story, but they're young, and it's like, okay, this is not for me. This is for younger people. So I hated it, but but again, it's not for me. I don't think it's bad. I just didn't like it. If my son, when he was older, wanted to watch this, I would probably sit and watch it with him, just to have that experience with him, because I think it is fun for kids. Like it's pretty much the Superman story for children, and we get good battles, right? He fights a robot in the first one. There's that really cool fight with that electric woman in the second one. Mm-hmm. We get like an Amanda Waller drop at the end, which I didn't expect.
Yeah.
But again, like tonally, this is for kids. So, there's not much to dive into. It's, Clark is Clark. He's figuring out who he is as Superman, which I thought that's a cool aspect. He doesn't know who he is, his powers and stuff. Lois Lane is Lois Lane, but young and new in her career. And Jimmy Olsen's the weird one because he's a conspiracy theorist.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it was Jimmy Olsen was, I don't know, whatever. I guess it was Jimmy Olsen, but the three of them being interns, I thought was kind of interesting because again, it's a new take. We've seen and heard the Superman story and read the Superman story like 1,000 times by now, so I can see where you need to do something to freshen it up. So I kind of was digging that to an extent, just because on Superman and Lois we have Dad Superman now, right? Superman Legacy, which James Gunn is working on right now. We have no idea what we're getting. We got Henry Cavill's Superman, who was a bit older, when he became like Superman. So this was interesting because I think they're like probably 21, 22 years old, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
right.
Maybe even slightly younger. I wasn't 100% sure on that. In that range, maybe like fresh out of college, or something like that.
That's what I got from it. Fresh out of college, like maybe Clark's just moved here from Smallville, like, and that's the thing. This is for a younger audience, so they have made them younger. They've made it a bit more simple. It kind of like, again, the tone kind of jives for kids, and I think what it's doing, as much as I didn't like it, what it's doing, I think it works. So like if you're looking for a show to watch with your kids that's superhero friendly, this is perfect.
So I actually don't really know what the target audience, I think, is a little bit all over the place. Or again, let me rephrase that: a wider audience, because I don't know. Like, this isn't Spidey and His Amazing Friends. Like, I'm not getting that vibe from it.
No, this is on par with that show that I told you about, that I said we shouldn't bother covering, Moon Girl and the dinosaur.
Yeah,
I forget his name. But it's the same thing. Like, it's not geared toward toddlers. Like, Finn wouldn't like it because Finn is on Spidey and His Amazing Friends. That's what he watches, right? But like, like range 6 to 12, maybe. Like, I know they want to attract an older audience, and I'm sure Spider-Man fans, the Superman fans who just want to see Superman would like this. But as an adult who watches a lot of this stuff, I was like, I don't know who they're trying to attract, but it's not me.
Yeah, going into this, when it was announced, I was like, okay, so this is anime, and I'll be the first one to admit, and I'm sure I've said it on here. Anime usually turns me off immediately because it's not even necessarily the art style. It's because the storytelling seems to be complete insanity to me. Like, it just seems like it's all over the place. I don't know what the hell's going on half the time, and things just start happening. So it's definitely like an anime. It's definitely an anime style of art. But it's on Adult Swim. So that leads me to believe that the target audience is perhaps a little older. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm kind of curious to see where this goes. But I think, the look of it, and some of them being younger, and like a young, spry Lois Lane and Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen together as interns, that does lend itself to like a younger audience. But I'm curious to see where it heads to. Like, if it does seem to be a little bit more mature on the other side, because we also do get Lois and Clark kind of essentially being attracted to each other, and there's a lot of talk of that in this. So that's where I'm like,
but that talk,
I don't know.
That talk is done in a very immature way. Like, oh, you like him? Ooh, ooh, like, it's like, so yes, but they're talking about it like grade schoolers would talk about it. Like, oh, why don't you go over there and pull his pigtails, huh?
If they would have sent each other notes or something like that, maybe.
Do you like me? Yes, no, maybe. Circle 1.
Yeah, I don't know. And then the approach to Clark and Krypton and his ship was very different from anything I've ever seen before.
I actually thought that was really cool.
And I like the fact that the Kryptonians, like, he speaks to Jor-El. I'm assuming it's Jor-El. He's speaking in a Kryptonian language that Clark doesn't understand. And I thought that was kind of cool. And he gets his suit in a completely different way. And it's like linked to his ship and everything. And then Martha, who is back and well alive.
Why did you say that name?
Sorry. Yeah, like, Jonathan and Martha Kent are well alive, and she actually makes the shorts and the belt for him, which is like, something's missing here. Let me just. And I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that was fun because the underwear, or his underwears, or his shorts. It seems to be a big topic of conversation, especially right now with Superman Legacy in production. Again, like, what is he going to wear them or not?
Yeah.
I'm always on the sense of I prefer not, and because I've always found even when Batman had the underwears on the outside of his suit, I thought it was weird. I've always found it to be strange, but I do admit sometimes it looks better. That depends on like how it looks.
I agree, but I think we have to admit that Batman did it as a power play because he just wanted everyone staring at his crotch.
That's probably true. That's probably true. Knowing what
Behold
we know,
the Bat
Bruce Wayne, sure.
That's right.
And there's a Task Force X name drop, like you said, at the end of the episode, which I didn't see coming either.
I didn't either. It gets dark at the end, and I actually, because again, I don't think this is bad. This wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But there are things I did think were cool about it. So like the end when they're pretty much torturing the bad guy, and she's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Oh, we're the good guys."
Well, that's what I'm saying is, so would it? I'm going to be honest. I enjoyed the episodes. I thought it was good because I thought it was. I knew we were going to get a different spin on Superman. I didn't think it was even more different than I thought it was going to be, and I was trying my best to kind of be like open with this because we both admitted Superman and Lois and Henry Cavill, to more of an extent for me than to you, have kind of got us more on board with Superman recently over the last since we started the show essentially, and I was kind of digging it, and again, I'm trying to see where it goes. But would it reel you in more if it goes like a lot darker in the next episode, or that's where it heads to?
I mean, it maybe it depends on how it's done. Like tonally, these two episodes were not dark; they were light and fluffy.
Yeah,
right up until the last 5 minutes. If the next episode just goes super dark out of nowhere, it's still gonna lose me because I'm like, well, what the fuck was those first two episodes like? However, if the show is crafted in such a way where it sets out to look like a children's show and gradually changes in a very purposeful way, then that will hook me because I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. You started with one way and that was just a misdirect to sort of get us in another way. So there are ways that this could hook me, but it would have to make sense and it would have to not feel like a children's show. Because again, I'm someone who fucking watches hours and hours and hours of children's shows. So, like that's also my bias. Because I don't want to come off like I said I hated this, and I did for the most part, just because I was bored. But I don't think it's bad. I think it's doing some really good things. I just have a bias.
And that's fair. So, have you seen the Harry Potter movies?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I've read all the books.
Okay. So, would you think that the gradual turn like those took in the films would be kind of what would get you on board? You think that would be an earned way to become darker?
Absolutely. Because those books gradually become darker over the course of them. Because the first one's light and fluffy, and the second one, you get Voldemort and you get the Chamber of Secrets, but it's still a bit light and fluffy. And then by the third, that's when things start to really change. And then by the end, fucking Dumbledore's being murdered. But it's a gradual shift. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. But if you started with the first one, and then the next one was Half-Blood Prince, where we see like Dumbledore being murdered, mm-hmm. I would have been like, wait a minute, you're missing some stuff here.
Yeah, I agree. But that's kind of what I don't know. Actually, I was going to say I'm somewhat envisioning that's what's going to happen, but I don't know. I'm kind of fascinated by the show because I'm curious to know more about this world. But you're right. If it stays very super light and fluffy, and we'll see the season out and see what it is. I don't even know how many episodes are going to be in this. I don't think it's going to be a crazy amount. My guess is. I also wasn't sure with Adult Swim. I was like, are these like 10-minute episodes or something like that? I mean, they're only 22 minutes, so I mean they're pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't mind covering this. When you first texted me, because I was half asleep when you first texted me, because it's the summer, I sleep in.
Yes.
I was gonna text you back like I'm not gonna watch the whole season because I thought it dropped the whole season, but then when I saw the first two episodes, I'm like, oh no, that's easy. And so it makes sense for us to cover it, especially with no CW now. Just see this baby through.
Yeah, agreed. And also we get Jack Quaid voicing Superman, who is Huey on the Boys.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't
So-
even realize that.
I liked it. He's got a pretty good. It didn't take me out of it. I was kind of digging, him as a voice of like a younger Superman.
I liked it. I didn't clock it as him, but I liked his. I liked how it sounded. I think he did a good job.
Yeah, and we also saw him. He has a brief cameo in Across the Spider-Verse because he's the Peter Parker that passes away in Gwen Stacy's reality.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so he's branching off more from the Boys, and now he's doing more traditional. I mean, listen, he's been Peter Parker and Clark Kent now.
Our boy is becoming a man.
So yeah, no, it was cool, man. I like his work, especially again when you're going from the Boys to like the other stuff. So that was cool. And we're unfortunately not going to see him for a little bit because I know that the Boys season 4, they did mention it's being delayed now because it is writer's strike.
Yeah. Look, Hollywood, pay your fucking writers. All right,
Yeah,
stop
get
this
it together.
Shit. I'm not blaming the writers. The writers need to be paid.
Absolutely.
Like these things, obviously, this shit doesn't exist without them. And these Hollywood execs are making mucho fucking money off of their talent and paying them shit. Pay your talent, people.
And that ties into what we talked about last week with Stan Lee. It's like the person who writes it is the creator, or the person who visually makes it.
Exactly. But you know what? It's a marriage, and these Hollywood executives, they don't do anything but put money up.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see where that heads to starting next week. And that takes us to our MCU show of the week. Let me drop the spoiler ticker here because the show's only been out for 2 days now since they drop on Wednesdays. We got Secret Invasion Episode 3. So if you have not seen Secret Invasion Episode 3, come back and check us out another time because we're going to spoil the shit out of this and speak completely freely on this. We got a lot of theories and stuff. So, Jason, take a wild guess what victory lap I'm going to start this off with.
Which one?
There's a couple.
There is a couple. Which one?
There's a couple. Super Skrulls, baby.
There you go. You
right
called
off the back too.
You called the Super Skrulls, and they didn't fuck around. Gravik is like, yeah, we're gonna be Super Skrulls, bitches.
Yeah, we're not gonna mess around. We know that we're gonna do this whole thing with eradicating humanity, and Earth's heroes are going to show up at some point, and we need to deal with them, which is what he said in episode 2. And he was making a machine to make them stronger. So, wham! And he pretty much said that, like, yeah, we're gonna be able to change powers, and we got to be super versions of ourselves. And he kind of says it in a cool way, where he's like, say Super Skrulls.
Yeah,
like that. I thought it was pretty cool.
I thought that was awesome. Do you know what victory lap I'm going to take now?
Oh, I know which one you're going to take because we both kind of got one right on the other next week. So that ties into the second scene. Go ahead. So in 1998.
So we were debating if Nick Fury knew he was married to a Skrull or not. And in fact, we find out right away, no, he knew he was married to a Skrull. That it was someone he worked with back in the day when he was not director yet. And yeah, he fucking hooks up with a Skrull, and their relationship is so good and so believable. And the conversation they have about like him leaving. And
that was a heavy conversation.
Oh God, it was so good. And he's like, well, how do you feel about me leaving? And she's like, well, when you left the first time after the snap, I grieved you. I let you go. I forgave you. And then you came back, and I thought everything was we'd be back together. And then you left again, but this time it was willingly. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's right. I mean, she's like this show, and we'll get more into it in this episode. But this show is 100% how Nick Fury fucked up at every turn of this Skrull like project, because he really does fuck up at every turn on a personal and professional level.
Yeah, he did a lot of people dirty along the way, and the root was the chickens are coming home to roost.
Yep.
In this series. So one quick thing though, I wanted to mention for the 1998 conversation though. So for those who may have not picked it up, there is a huge Black Widow reference in that scene because the information, there's an envelope that she slips to Fury, and they mention Dreykov's men are going to be sent running. Dreykov is the villain in Black Widow.
That's right. Shit, I forgot about that. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, which still, I love what the way the MCU was doing this because they're making sure they keep everything in sync. So in 1998, it would make sense that S.H.I.E.L.D. and Nick Fury would be looking into Dreykov for the whole Black Widow project.
Yep.
So I thought that was a pretty cool thing that was right there. So in that conversation that you mentioned, though, that deep one that Fury has with his wife in their house, she also takes a phone call where she's like, she doesn't have this information at that time, and they kind of leave it at that, and they kind of push it to the side, which I think as the episode goes on, especially at the end, there's some huge ramifications that go on there. So then we get a scene too where Jaya tries to go ahead and cover her tracks, and she pretty much is kind of, because we do find out in this episode, she's the mole in Gravik's resistance that is, feeding Talos information, and it would make sense that's happening. So she kind of throws it on the guy Brogan, who was tortured in episode 2 and is kind of dead. So you can kind of throw the blame on a dead guy. They can't go ahead and speak back to you. So smart move by her.
But Gravik is fucking smart because Gravik pretty much sets a trap for the mole. I mean,
yeah.
And he said when he catches her, he says, "Well, I mean, sucks that the mission was compromised, but I found the mole." And I was like, "Wow, this guy is like smart. I like him as a villain a lot."
Yeah, and there's a lot to. I think in this episode he does a lot of. There's a lot more revealed about Gravik in this episode and how kind of ruthless and to the call, dedicated to the cause he is. Because that also the next scene is where he meets up with Talos. Talos, we saw in episode 2, and mentioned he wants to meet up with Gravik to talk about a parlay, like he is involving his daughter. So I don't know if the big plan was to get his daughter out because before she gets discovered or something. Maybe he felt like she was in too much danger in this mission that she's on. We'll get to why we don't really maybe not find that out completely at the moment. But to focus on the conversation, so they do meet up, and Gravik is smart. He has scrolls everywhere, and
that was a cool fucking scene when Gravik is like, you're lucky I didn't send your daughter back in a body bag to you already. And Talos kind of showing because we're led to believe that Talos was a badass back, in his day, and that kind of comes through, and he grabs at him, and everyone in the restaurant gets up and turns into Gravik, and you just see Talos like, okay,
yep.
And I thought that was a cool fucking scene.
No, it was, and he just pretty much like let him know, like, I got you surrounded, dude. But what he does after that, because they have this conversation where essentially Gravik is telling him, like, I'm gonna wipe out humanity, and Talos is like, I'm not gonna. You think I'm actually gonna let this happen? I'm gonna let them all know what you're going. You're gonna lose the element of surprise, and your greatest asset is completely out the fucking window then. And we're gonna let them know the difference between us and you, and us being the people who haven't, even says something along the lines of haven't been infected by your poison and haven't been, skewed to go through this way and be like radicalized. And that's how it's going to be. And there's a conversation about humanity too, where Talos tells Gravik, you don't know the first thing about humanity, man. Like, they're at their peak when they get threatened by a common foe. And that's pretty much that. And Gravik's like, well, you're going to go ahead and be the downfall of, your people, the Skrulls and everything like that. So there's a pushing of why they're going for both. And then it ends where he mentions his daughter's name, Gia's name, and he takes a knife and puts it right through his hand. And it's like,
so cool.
Don't you ever, to the end of time, mention my daughter's name in your mouth, like, ever again. And he just walks out. That was badass.
That was super badass because he does that. They establish He knows there's a whole bunch of Gravik's men in there. They could all descend upon him. He doesn't care. And that's kind of like the reveal. Like, no, there's still a little bit of that like badass in him. And I'm really hoping, and I'm sure we will, I'm hoping that we're going to see that like pretty soon.
Yeah, I think we start seeing it little by little in this episode.
Yes.
But another takeaway for that scene, though, is when Gravik removes the knife from his hand, you see this like fiery thing where he heals, and that's got to be the Extremis that we saw Gia finding on a computer, which pretty much confirms he is a Super Skrull already.
Super Skrull. Yep.
Again, not in the sense where he's going to look like all the Fantastic Four and all that shit, but still.
No, but that wouldn't make sense. But I like their take on the Super Skrulls in this, because they're using what's at hand that they've done in the MCU, and I thought that reveal that he had the Extremis was just really subtle and really awesome.
Yeah. And one quick thing before we move on is they have this conversation before they go into the official meeting, and they're talking about a painting of like leaders from World War I. And Gravik is describing it, and he's like, yeah, this is perfect. This is how it usually is, right? You got all these guys posing, taking pictures, getting paintings done of them. Look at this one guy's smug face. But us, we're the soldiers. We're the ones doing the fighting, the killing, and the dying. And these guys are posing for pictures. And he's even says, I want my story. If I have the choice between ink and blood, I want my story in blood every single time. It really drives home where this guy's mentality is at.
Yeah, and the writing is so good. Like from start to finish, the writing is so good. I love that little monologue that he gives. And it also like really goes to show you, because they're making commentary here, right? They're making a commentary on like terrorism, right? And I think it's interesting that we're kind of getting to get the psychology of a radicalized terrorist in the MCU as a Skrull. I think it's really interesting what they're doing here.
Yeah, because we've said before in a lot of these things, where if you just get the mustache twirling villain, there's only so much that's there, but you need to understand the motivations of the villain. Yes. And are they reasonable or not? And that's what makes a much better villain, and we're definitely getting that with Gravik.
100%.
So then it cuts to Talos leaves. He kind of storms out of there. He gets his phone back, which is how Gia is talking to him. But Gia's in the car and drives Gravik away, still keeping her cover there. But Fury catches up with Talos in a bar where he's eating some breakfast, and their conversation goes along the lines of essentially an apology. But what he makes him say is interesting.
I love what he makes him say, and I love that Fury says it. Mm-hmm. I think that, and I'll let you say what it is because I have no memory for detail like that. But I think the key takeaway from this conversation is that without the Skrulls, there is no Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, he literally used the Skrulls as a spy network to, yes, help America, but also elevate himself to a position he wouldn't have necessarily gotten. Talos says you were like you were just like an intern or like a
calls him a bench warmer, literally
a bench warmer. Yeah, you were a S.H.I.E.L.D. bench warmer until you met us, and then you became the almighty Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I think it's real interesting the fact that Nick Fury says the apology the way he wants it. That's Nick Fury saying, "Yes, you're right."
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth there because they have two separate conversations and essentially the same, in two different places, but the same continuing conversation. So in the bar though, he tells him like, I need your help. I'm nothing without you." Yeah. Slightly paraphrased, but that's what he says, and that's what Talos gets, and then they go on their ride because Fury tells him that he has some intel on a Skrull that's high up in the U.S. government that is in London right now. So that we will get to that at the end because there's the ending of this episode kind of really spells that out for you. Or we're getting misdirected again because that's been the fun of this show so far is that we're all on edge guessing everyone's a Skrull now.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like,
We have the characters essentially guessing along with them.
and I guess that's part of it, right? Because
Yeah.
this is the whole like vibe of this is Cold War paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, the fact that even the audience is like, scroll. Wait, I smell a scroll. It's like, yeah, we're kind of in it with the characters.
Yeah, I like that. And that's one of the things I'm enjoying the most about this.
Same.
So they have their conversation. So they go to their lead and they get pretty much some information from Sonya, who was the woman, Fury's buddy, who was doing the torturing last episode. And we see her in episode 1. Tells them about a nuclear submarine called Neptune that pretty much is going to get an attack launched on them. And there's a guy named Bob who they have to go. I'll just leave it there because that's what Fury calls him.
Yeah.
So Talos and Fury have to go and stop this attack because this guy is doing it remotely. And the guy's a Skrull who is impersonating someone who was there. But touching on that conversation in the car, yeah, they have this conversation and it starts off interestingly because Talos is talking, he sees a person walking a dog, and he's like, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
I don't get this. What other interspecies relationship is okay where one is picking up the poop of the other? Like, where is this?
I'm going to say, I'm with Talos on this. Good point.
It's a crazy thing. As someone who's a dog person, hey, what are you going to do? It's either that or everyone steps in it.
That's it. Here's the thing. It's the price you pay for being a dog person and a dog owner. And like, of course, as a human being, we're like, yeah, dogs. But coming from an alien perspective, 100% get that. Like, if I were an alien coming to Earth, I'd be like, why are you picking up these lower creatures' excrement? You know?
No, I think it may have been Jerry Seinfeld or so who had a little bit about saying that if aliens saw us doing this, they would think that the dogs were the ones running the show.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
which is a hilarious take on it. But it does get Talos thinking, about some other stuff that's going on. And yeah, like you said, it was his relationship, his and Fury's relationship. Calls Fury a bench warmer. And yeah, he had this secret spy network feeding him information. He goes, this is shit you never would have gotten without any of us over time. Oh, but it's because Fury says, he talks about the dog relationship, and he's like, it's kind of like us. I've been picking up your shit for years. That's where Talos is like, don't rewrite history, dude.
Yeah.
This is really what happened. Is this how you see it? So their chemistry also, Ben Mendelsohn and Sam Jackson, is really on showcase in the show.
Nah, it's fantastic. And again, this is just this whole show is an exploration of Nick Fury's character. Like, from start to finish. Again, I'm going to say it every episode until I'm proven right or wrong. I think this swan song, he dies at the end of this.
I'm going to save a comment about that at the end because I think there's something that maybe both of us overlooked last week.
Oh, okay.
There's something I overlooked that's going to contradict that. Possibly.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see it. All right. I'm in.
All right. So then they get into the house. They see Bob and his son there. They're going to launch this nuclear attack. They need him to call in the code, and they need the code. Nick Fury has enough of this shit, and because at one point he's going to shoot his kid. Yeah. And Fury's not fucking around. He kind of looks like he was going to do it.
Oh no, Fury was 100% going to kill that kid.
Yeah, he was ready to go. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think we're starting, like, there's been an awakening in Nick Fury now, where everyone's talking shit about him the first couple episodes, but now he's just kind of like, when I'm out, I'm in. That thing, I think, is the sign of like him returning back to form. So he's about to do that, and Talos is kind of like, thrown back by this for a second. It's kind of like the good cop, bad cop thing. He shoots Bob in the knee, and Talos takes the gun from him, almost like going a little bit too far. And then Bob has a conversation with Talos, saying like, "You were the Skrull General. Like, you could have been that guy. You could have been a partnership with Gravik. You chose not to. We would have followed you as well. Like, I'm not about that." And there's a follow-up conversation after that, but they get the codes. He calls into his daughter to get it at the last, because he ends up shooting Bob and killing him. So to impersonate him, the only way to get the code was to call his daughter. His daughter goes, and I thought it was interesting that we see more of the humans that the Skrulls are impersonating in stasis, essentially, and they can jog their memories on a computer screen, which was kind of what we saw in Captain Marvel. And she ends up going to this guy, finding his information, gets it. It was his son's name. That was the code. Crisis averted. They're not launching this code, this nuclear attack now, because that nuclear attack was going to start a whole war. And that was part of Gravik's plan, was to get the war started amongst the humans while they kind of do their thing.
Yeah.
Crisis averted. Afterwards, Fury and Talos are speaking a little bit more. And Fury's like, dude, make me understand. Why are you not with Gravik? And he just simply says, because I'm with you.
Yeah, I love that answer. Like he gave his word, and he's a man of his word. And again, it's also becoming an exploration of Talos as a character, right? I think him and Nick Fury have a lot of parallels, like even in the sense that we see them being awakened, the men they used to be, the dangerous men. But I love this little bit. Like, I'm not with him because I'm with you. Like, I gave you my word, and I stand by that. It's a great character moment.
Yeah. And then Talos does say, after he gets the code, he tells Gia to leave. Like, get out of there right now, because it's up. You need to go. And that's where we had mentioned she's fleeing, gets stopped by Gravik, intercepts it. The mole has been exposed, and he even tells her to turn around as he's going to shoot her.
Oh,
she's like, no, you got to look me in the face. And before she even finishes the sentence, he fucking kills her.
Yeah, but you know what? I love it that she was like, no, look me in the face. Like, she didn't go out as a fucking punk, and I love that death scene. And now I really want to see, like, this is going to set Talos off. Talos has lost everything now. He's going to go full fucking Warforce General, and I cannot wait to see what that looks like.
And she's like dead, because she turns into her Skrull form right afterwards, and we've seen consistently that's how Skrulls die. When they die, they reveal themselves. So
I don't think this is a misdirect.
All right, so that leads me to another thing that's going on, that's been thrown around as a theory.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's my theory, but it's possible. So, did the MCU really hire Emilia Clarke to just play Talos' daughter to get killed at the end of episode 3, or are we going to see the person that she's been impersonating?
Oh, we might see the person she's been impersonating. I mean, you don't get Queen Daenerys and then let her go in 3 episodes.
Okay. So now the question is, who is she really? And the theory that's being thrown around is that she's Abigail Brand, who we have not seen in the MCU, who in the comics is the head of S.W.O.R.D. She's basically Nick Fury's head of S.W.O.R.D.
Okay. I could see that.
Yeah, because we don't really know who the hell she's impersonating whatsoever.
We don't, but we do know that they chose the people they're impersonating specifically for their, for the tactical advantage. So that would make sense. I would not be disappointed or surprised at that reveal.
That would be pretty awesome.
And I'd love to see that actress stick around in the MCU because, I love my girl Daenerys.
No, likewise. I actually think that as bad as Terminator Genesis was, I actually thought she was a solid Sarah Connor.
Which one was Genesis? Was that the one where John? Is that the one where Arnold comes back and he's old man Terminator?
Well, they tried that twice actually, but Genesis was the one. It's pronounced Terminator Genesis, but they decided to spell it very strangely, which is why I'm screwing around calling it Genesis. That was the one that got some weird time travel going on in it, and they have a recasted Kyle Reese and they have a recasted Sarah Connor.
Okay, I've never seen that.
It's not good, but to see her turn as Sarah Connor was interesting.
Okay, yeah,
I does a solid job.
I'd watch part of it just for that because I like that actress. I'd like to see what she does with it.
Yeah, it's definitely a different timeline thing for Terminator. So that brings us to the ending, though, where Fury's wife, she basically grabs these keys and flees the house immediately after getting a text. And she goes to a safety deposit lockbox. She finds a gun in there. Then she makes a phone call after she sees the gun, trying to it's led to believe she's looking for Gravik, but the voice on the other end is Rhodey, and says we got to meet up soon, and that's where the episode ends. So, Rhodey's a Skrull.
I mean, I've seen this theory. I've seen evidence, not evidence, but I've seen like points about how it could be. Like the fact that he knew about them, the fact that Rhodey does say he'll carpet bomb. I should have carpet bombed or whatever. I think they're setting up for Rhodey to be a Skrull. I could be wrong. Maybe that's a misdirect. Maybe she's working with the government. Maybe she's deep cover Shield.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they don't really give you a lot, but they give you a nice cliffhanger to chew on for the week. Until the reveal is there. Do we think Rhodey's been acting a little out of character in the series?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're on Team Skrull. Rhodey's the Skrull.
Wouldn't be surprised. Like, I'm not doubling down on it, but because it could just be like, because it's small things. Like, again, the fact that he made that comment about carpet bombing the country because he got pissed off at the, like there are small things that kind of lead me to believe, but it also could be misdirects.
And that's the fun of the show. Is that we literally just guessing. This almost has like a somewhat when we were guessing when we did WandaVision and at the beginning of Granny's speech tape.
Yes, because anything could have happened. We didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, I don't think we've had an MCU show keep us guessing this much.
No,
since then.
No, I agree. And hey, whatever it is, I trust. This show is. I don't think it's had one misstep. I've enjoyed every episode of this show. I enjoy what they're doing. And if Rhodey's a Skrull, I guess the only question is that we'll have to discuss is when did that happen?
That's the big thing. And I don't buy into, and I'm going to take it as a joke, that it was after Iron Man because that's when they recasted for Don Cheadle. I don't think it goes back that far.
No, I don't think so at all. That would be foolish. But that is a funny joke. Like, I was thinking about that myself. Like, wouldn't it be funny if they made a reference like, oh, hey, he doesn't look like that. But like, no, that would be inconsistent in the universe.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because when She-Hulk did it, it was a little bit different when they made the joke because that seemed like it was more in tone with She-Hulk. Regardless whether you liked it or not, that was the thing.
Look, She-Hulk was Deadpool before Deadpool. I'm throwing that out there. Where the fact that she talks to the audience and fucks around with the reality.
Okay, so before we move on, one last thing. I guess we may have both forgotten. Nick Fury is in the Marvels.
Oh, shit. All right, there you go.
Oh, wait, unless that Nick Fury's a Skrull.
Or unless it's a flashback.
It's true. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to guess that he doesn't die that way.
Yeah, you're right. If he's in the Marvels, that makes sense. So I guess I withdraw that. But I do think this would have been a great swan song for the character of Nick Fury. Mm-hmm. So, but hey,
I wasn't even thinking it, dude. You understand? I think I had saw the trailer again, like over the week, and that's what was like, oh shit, that's right. He's prominently featured in the Marvels trailer.
Yeah,
because he meets Ms. Marvel and stuff. So.
I completely forgot about that.
Okay. It's fine. Again, unless he dies in this, and that's the one is a Skrull in the Marvels.
Or unless it's Mojo. Finally, guys, it's Mojo.
Wait, it's not Mephisto?
It could be. Maybe Mojo made a deal with Mephisto.
All right, so we'll see where episode 4 takes us. I mean, we're halfway there, man. It's only 6 episodes.
Yeah. We're almost there. I'm in for it though. I'm really loving this. The fact that it's getting such low ratings. I don't know. I guess people like action, and this isn't very action oriented. It's a very different thing. And also, people hated Ms. Marvel, which I don't understand. Like, I get not liking the movie Ms. Marvel. I get Captain being Marvel. Ambivalent about the movie Captain Marvel, rather. I'm sorry. I mean, I liked it, but there are people who just fucking hate it. I've seen comments like, I would never watch this or that movie. And it's like, why? Like, what is so offensive about it? It's no Eternals. It's no Thor the Dark World.
I mean, if I want to throw some theories out there, I mean, how dare you have a female hero? Bastard!
Right. It starts with M and ends with misogyny.
Yeah, it's absurd. Whatever, man. Get over yourself, dude. It's okay. Heroes can be, anybody. Anyone can be a hero. So, it's okay. All right, so that takes us to our movie of the week, which we definitely don't need a spoiler ticker for because dude, this movie's fucking 15 years old. I was kind of taken aback by that.
This is 15 years old. This is something. This is a movie.
This is a movie. It's true.
This is a movie.
We have a secret special guest star. I was not aware of to join us for Transformers.
Who's joining us? I don't have my special privilege access, so I can't see.
Oh, I mean, I will bring him in. I'm kind of excited that you can't see him. So, Tim, what's up?
Tim.
So all R1
to an extent here.
Oh boy.
By the way, real quick, Jason, I dislike Captain Marvel because I thought it was boring as shit. And I don't like Brie Larson. It has nothing to do with the female lead.
No.
I just don't like. I was bored with that movie, and I don't like her.
Here's the thing. I said I get why people dislike it. Even I don't get why people hate it like it's the worst thing ever.
No, I don't like Eternals either. But I don't hate it. I just all right. I saw it. I didn't like it. I have no need to watch it again.
Yeah, no. That I get.
Fair.
That's fair. It's not like. I don't think Captain Marvel's the best of the best. I thought it was interesting. I didn't dislike it. I get why people dislike it. What I'm talking about is the fucking hate, the absolute burning hatred.
That's the people who don't like the female lead.
That's what I would bother me.
That doesn't bother me. Well, she's fucking female in the comics too. Let it go. It's not like they switched it just for the movies.
Right. That's who she is in the comics.
Yeah, because those people were definitely reading the original Captain Marvel in the 60s. Yeah. So
dumb.
All right.
Now, when I saw you guys are doing the first Transformers, I was like, you know what? I want to jump on because this is really the only one that you can talk semi-positive about. Because after this, it's all fucking downhill.
Well, I'm glad someone has something semi-positive to say about this steaming pile of shit.
I still like this one. I still like the first one. The rest of them, we're talking fucking deep nosedive.
All right. So let's start it off there. Tim, Tim, when was the last time you watched this movie?
6-7 months ago, maybe.
Okay, so
somewhere around there.
So fairly recently.
Plus, I watched it so many times when it first came out. I got it. I got it in the memory bank.
No, but it's not even that. It's just that I always we literally rewatch it before the week of because I do feel like shit changes. You know it is. Movies change can hit you over time. We've had more Transformers worse and better since then.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw this together, if I remember right, when it first came out. Yeah, we did. We have a huge group, I think, because we were all amped up and beyond excited for this live action Transformers. Fucking let's go. My only thing is it doesn't hold up for me. It doesn't. I'll agree with you. I can't imagine the next four surpassing this by any stretch of the imagination. I would be shocked, but it just doesn't hold up. And the reasons why is I did really like this when this first came out. This is all we had, so I loved it, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool and stuff. And I was so excited to see the second one, and we'll talk about the second one next week. And Tim, it was me, you, and TJ when we saw the second one. Remember when they Atlas fucked up and started an hour late, so it didn't start until 1:00 in the morning, and then I had to call you the next day, and I was like, wait, did Devastator really have balls? Yeah. And all this other stuff. Am I lying? I actually called you the next day to ask you.
Did we dream that? Was that real? I was like, unfortunately, that was real.
But it's just that I think I was trying to think because I rewatched this last night, and I'm like, well, what is it that I really don't like about this now? And I think it's because we've seen better live action Transformers now. This is nowhere near Bumblebee or Rise of the Beast. I don't think it's anywhere near it. And that's the thing. I think we've just gotten better. And it starts for me with the character designs. I hate the way Optimus Prime looks in this fucking movie now.
They all look like shit.
And they just jumble jargons of something.
They all look like generic fucking robot kaijus. Their colors are dark and muted. Megatron looks like shit. How is that Megatron? That's fucking stupid. They all look like garbage.
And I think that's part of the thing that loses me with this movie now is because I hate the designs of the characters. I don't think Bay knows how to fucking actually shoot it because you can't. It's hard to follow the fights when they're happening. There's just this you get, and
well,
it's
he's
metal
used to.
things.
Yeah, he's not used to. He probably can't translate from his head to a CG thing. Like, this is what I want. I want brown. I want beer. That's why he says it too. I want blue beer. The guy's like, I don't know what the fuck that means. So I'm gonna do my own thing. I want pew pew. That's what I want. No, I can't do pew pew. I gotta make it look like a fucking real thing. No, I get that part. I get it. Yeah, he's the problem, I think, with these movies. And as I said, this is the third best Transformers movie now. I'm not gonna even make that mistake. But he said,
all right, so you're on board.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I still minus. I gotta tell you, Shia LaBeouf, I can't stand him. Minus him, the parents, and a few minor, lines and peeing on people. It's like, all right, I get rid of that stuff, and I can still sit back and be like, okay, this is what we had. It was enjoyable. Great, no, not by any stretch of the means, but it's almost like G.I. Joe. Not great, but I see certain characters I enjoy watching. Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes, that kind of thing. Great, no. Not at all.
So I'll tell you my story with this movie. I saw this movie in the theater. I liked this movie when I saw it in the theater because, again, as you guys have said, it's all we had, right? I then bought this movie not willingly. You guys remember Columbia House, right? It was one of those ones where, they sent it to me on DVD because, like, I owed them blood money. I had to buy something, and I just didn't respond and say, "Don't send me Transformers." So I was like, "All right, I got Transformers," and I never watched it because I just never had the inclination. But again, I liked it when I first saw it, and then the second time I watched it was 2 nights ago, and it just didn't hold up for me. Like I can give you a list of the things I really hated about this movie, and it's like I don't like the look of the Transformers. I don't think Michael Bay understands what the Transformers was about. Like,
no,
I didn't tune into Transformers. You didn't tune into Transformers for the tits and ass when we were a kid. Yet we get that fucking weird porno shot of what is that? What's that actress's name? Megan something or other?
Megan Fox?
Megan Fox, yeah. We get that porno like from head to toe when she's over the car and shit. It's like, yeah, right, because I used to jerk off when I watched fucking Transformers as a kid.
and it gets worse. It gets worse in part 2. It gets way worse.
Oh, I remember it being much worse in the second one.
I've never after this I am in undiscovered country because I never saw another one after this. Again, I liked it fine enough. But
can I watch you watch the second one? No, I want to watch you watch what's the Mark Wahlberg one? That's the one I want to watch you.
Oh,
those
God.
are 4 and 5.
Is it the one with with Excalibur and the fucking Knights of the Round
That's
Table?
the 5th one.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Dude, the 4th Transformers with Mark Wahlberg is the one that made me go, wow, he is fucking god awful in everything he does. Unless he's from Boston.
Hey.
Unless he's from Boston.
Optimus. Say hello to your mother for me, Optimus.
Yeah. He's trying to sound smart like a scientist. Like, I'm not buying it. I'm not fucking buying it. I'm sorry. You're from Southie. Shut up.
Yo, the Googleplex, bro. It's a Googleplex.
Oh my god, it's a Transformer. It's a Transformer.
Look, but could we talk about like people not making sense and like no character in this movie makes sense. Can someone tell me what fucking bet Turturro lost to be in this movie?
Well, I think that's a good way to start because I was to say let's talk about the cast of this movie because they got some fucking talent for this movie. I will say.
And there's one person in this movie that I won't take no shit over.
I know where this is going.
One person. It was fucking great in this movie in the
Go
small
ahead.
part. In the
Go
small
ahead.
part. Bernie Mac.
Oh, agreed.
Bernie Mac
Bernie
Bernie Mac was fucking hysterical in the 10 minutes he was on the screen.
Agreed.
I loved every single minute he was on. He was fantastic.
I texted Ed, holy shit, Bernie Mac is in this movie? because I fucking forgot. But
His
agreed,
one
he's
little
fantastic in this.
little part was fucking hysterical. I was hoping they brought him back for some strange reason in the second one. For no reason. Just bring back Bernie Mac's character because he was that great in his fucking 10 minutes of whatever he had. Other than that, other than that, we can shit on everybody else. I don't care.
Well, no, but I mean, you got Bernie Mac in this movie, who was a small part, but funny, and Bernie Mac is always great to see. You know, R.I.P. Bernie Mac. It made me think. I was like, wow, I can't believe he passed. John Turturro is in this movie, which is bonkers.
John Turturro, who is an amazing, one of the best fucking character actors of our time. I just watched the show Severance that he's in. He transformed himself completely. He's an amazing actor. He sucks in this.
Jason, wait till the second one.
Oh yeah, it gets worse.
John
him
Turturro,
specifically.
John Turturro found a new way to suck even worse in the second one.
Do you think that John Turturro lost a bet, had to do this movie, and said, I'm going to act like a terrible actor playing this shitty character, and this is all just a fucking meta joke for John Turturro? Please tell me you think that, guys.
I think he lost the bets of John Voight.
Oh, God, yeah, John Voight's in this fucking movie.
John Voight's in this movie, despite his whatever the hell is going on with him lately. We get John Voight as the Secretary of Defense in this, and I completely forgot he was in this movie. That was strange. Anthony Anderson, like a young Anthony Anderson's in this movie.
That was crazy to me.
He was slightly funny too, but it was also like, all right, take a breath.
Yeah.
Take a step back. I don't need you anymore. You were funny in the beginning, but then you're like, oh, dude, stop. Just
well,
stop.
this is what he was doing at the time, though. He was just kind of like that guy.
Yeah.
Before he became like, like who he is now. Now he's like a respected actor.
The smoking hot nerd. Everyone, all the women smoking hot in this movie. His counterpart.
It's a Michael Bay movie. Of course it is.
Look, in Michael Bay's universe, all women are hot sex objects. Yeah.
Like Last Action Hero. Every woman looks like fucking smoking hot in every scene.
Right.
That's exactly what it is.
So I'm going to throw this out there for a second, though. Shia LaBeouf does not bother me in this movie. Because he's playing a teenager who gets, I mean, there are similarities with Sam Witwicky and Charlie from Bumblebee. No, they're teenagers getting their first car. They both get Bumblebee. And I don't know, whatever. He's like a goofy, dumb teenager in this movie. Like, playing that, I don't have an issue with it. I mean, of course, some of the lines are ridiculous, but he didn't write them. I don't think he was improvising some of them. And I don't know. He didn't really get to me in this. And honestly, Megan Fox doesn't bother me in this movie. What did she? I mean, she was, of course, Michael Bay completely objectifies the shit out of her and stuff like that. But it's not like she was writing that or directing it. I mean, she does what she could with what she has. Which I'm not saying she's a great actress either, but like, whatever. They don't bother me. The parents are that's just absurd.
I'm gonna say this: the writing is so bad it actually elevates the terrible performances of Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. Because they're not good, you're just not clocking it because the writing is so much worse.
Perhaps, but I'm just like, but they weren't like the standout most annoying things to me. I was so annoyed by the designs of the Transformers this time around.
I agree.
And some dumb shit that was happening.
I was annoyed by the characterization. No character made sense to me. I have a new theory. I posited last week that I thought Tommy Wiseau, this gentleman right here, was actually, that's right, I have an action figure, Tim, was actually a brilliant director from another planet. We just don't get his stories because we're not from his planet. I think Michael Bay is from a sister planet. I would say Michael Bay is from Autotron or whatever the fuck their planet's called. Cybertron. But he actually doesn't understand this Transformers at all, so he couldn't be from Cybertron. But like the way the characters act, like Megan Fox is in the beginning of this with bully number 1 as her boyfriend and the bully crew, and she doesn't like bullying. Why the fuck is she with the bully crew in the beginning?
Well, she kind of says why, though.
She
does kind of say why. She's like the guy. She thought the dude was hot and kind of just went for that. And then she admitted she was being like shallow about it. She's like, yeah, whatever. She kind of admits. She does tell him.
She wanted to drive his car too. She wanted to drive his car. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Still pretty stupid.
But they're teenagers. Is that not that out of place for a teenager?
I mean, you know what? I think in Michael Bay's universe is exactly what teenagers act. Because how many times I've actually stranded my best friend somewhere so I could maybe get the shot at the hot girl who has no fucking idea who I am because, I'm Sam Witwicky and I want to fuck her. It's like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I think this is how teenagers act in a Michael Bay movie. I think this is his interpretation of teenagers, but these are awful people that make no sense.
All right, wait.
Hence is what my saying is teenage.
Just to let you know, I understand with the bros before hosting. I get that.
Yeah.
But if you were going to take a shot at Megan Fox, I would get the fuck out of the car for you. I'm like, dude, you go. If you nail that, if you score, good for you. If not, you fucking better come back and pick my ass up. That's all I'm saying. But I would get you back. I'd be like, go ahead, go do it.
But that's better written then. If that scene played out with his friend going, "Yo, this is your time. I'm getting out," and then he gets out. But the way it plays out is get the fuck out, asshole. You're not my best friend. Hit the fucking road. It's like, I don't know. That's an asshole. It should have played out, as you said, where the guy was like, I got your back, man. This is your chance. Go take your chance. But again, poor writing.
So with other, well, maybe to focus on the writing more, I actually wasn't that bothered. It gave me a laugh. The line that Sam says to Michaela when he drops her off is like, there's more to you that meets the eye.
Oh God, you laughed at that?
I thought it because it was so stupid. It was funny. I mean, obviously you know why it was there, but I don't think it was. I think it was meant to be stupid funny. I mean, he obviously makes fun of himself right after. I was like, that's such a stupid, corny line. Whatever. And you know why I'd say Transformers more than meets the eye. Yada, yada.
You get it? You get it?
Yes.
You get it?
I'm trying to go for other things in the writing there. So there's also the fight with Barricade and Bumblebee when Bumblebee shows up, like shows into form. They're fighting. They cut away from that fight mid-fight to focus on Sam and Michaela fighting wherever the fuck the little Decepticon was supposed to be, and we get no resolution of that fight. Bumblebee just shows up like, "What's up, guys? Yeah. Hey, what happened to Barricade? What happened? I wanted to see that fight."
He won. That's it. He won.
I guess he won. I mean, you just call it a day. That's it. That was awful.
I was so good. Barricade gave up.
Lights out. Shut it down. I won. That's it. Gotta go. Next scene.
And the way Bumblebee calls the other Autobots, he just shows the Autobot bat signal into the air, and that's it.
Yeah, it's like where are they hanging out on the moon? Are they waiting like on the moon for it to be called? Like what the hell are they?
They're hanging out, Tim, on the dark side of the moon.
Yeah.
Reference for the third one.
That pile of shit.
Yeah, it was that I thought was goofy, and well, I guess we'll talk. I'll save the other stuff because I started writing down the things that don't sync up with the new timeline to further drive home the point. The new era of Transformers started with Bumblebee. This is not connected. No, I don't care how much they want to say it, how much they don't want to offend Michael Bay, maybe, and because they want him to be a producer and still pour in that money, but it's not. There's a lot of things that don't add up. We get an Armageddon reference at one point when the Autobots land. It's like, yo, man, this is like 100 times cooler than Armageddon. So Michael Bay self-referential reference.
Well, because of course Michael Bay is the Transformers' favorite director.
Of course.
Optimus Prime has seen The Rock no less than 600 times.
That's true. He does a great Connery, by the way.
He does. With Sam Witwicky, listen to my Sean Connery. We call the dog Indiana.
So, and speaking of some of the writing too, so we get a scene where John Turturro, he's talking to Sam Witwicky, telling him about his Michaela's whole backstory and stuff like that, and he goes, "Yeah, she's a criminal. Criminals are hot." And I was like,
"That's what I'm saying. People don't act like people."
She's a fucking teenager in this, and he's whatever the hell he is. I was like, "What just happened here?"
It's like, dude, she's 17.
Yeah,
she's 17 in an abusive family. Like, well, not abusive family, but a family full of criminals, and you're all
taking her along the way to steal cars the whole time. That's how she learned how to work on cars.
John Turturro is like, yeah, abused teenagers are hot.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just it was bizarre. So the scene when the Autobots show up to Sam's house because he's trying to find the glasses.
I wanted to talk about
that goes on for like 40 minutes, by the way.
And it's so fucking stupid, and it really shows how they don't understand the Transformers all, because it's supposed to be funny. It's a joke, ha ha. They're all huge fucking robot kaijus making a big fucking mess. Why would they be doing that? They're not stupid. It's not like Optimus Prime doesn't know they have to what stealth is. This whole scene makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, it's brutal. And it's like, so we have in Rise of the Beast that scene where Mirage is outside of the building, which is done 1,000 times better than whatever the hell is going on here.
Because that's one fucking Autobot who has been shown to be a bit kind of not all there when it comes to his surroundings, trying to be stealthy and failing.
Yes,
that
and he jokes around
funny.
and reveals himself immediately.
Yes.
Yeah, and like, he doesn't have a
sick
tiptoe.
fucking Autobot's not even trying to be stealthy.
It was.
Sorry, Tim.
I didn't even realize.
No, sorry.
It was the length of the scene drove me nuts. I thought that scene was like a 10 minute scene. It goes on for like fucking 40 minutes, man.
Yep.
It's so bad.
And I think that's another issue that I have with this movie is the pacing of this movie is fucking terrible. The fact that it's 2 hours and almost 40 minutes is nonsense. They could have shaved off 40 minutes of this fucking movie and still gotten the point home.
Yes, they actually just could have taken out that whole scene of the Autobots doing fucking the Marx Brothers at Sam Witwicky's house. That would have been 40 minutes shaved off, and you could just have a line, "Hey, I got the glasses, guys." And by the way, speaking of the glasses, if I had $1 for every time someone name dropped eBay, I could fucking retire at the end of this summer. It's like, Sam Witwicky, I went on eBay, I bought these glasses. Oh, Sam Witwicky, I have an eBay account. I'm Optimus Prime 69. It's the stupidest shit. They keep fucking name dropping eBay.
Oh, the shameless plugs that go on through these movies, it's going to get worse, though. It's going to get much worse. And none, Tim, is worth it in the fourth one. So I still haven't seen it in its entirety, and I will in a couple of weeks, unfortunately. But when Mark Wahlberg grabs the Bud Light to chug it quickly and then throws it away, you're like, what, why is this happening right now? And it's almost just show it to the camera. Yeah, there's like a Burger King thing. We get a Transformer out of a Mountain Dew fucking machine. An Xbox literally makes the Xbox music. I mean, the sound when you turn it on thing, the Wong or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, the Mountain Dew Decepticon pissed me off.
What the fuck was that about?
I don't like the fact that they could just turn anything into a fucking Decepticon. I didn't like that. That made no sense whatsoever. I
also hate the whole idea while we're on it, the whole idea of the Allspark, which they pulled completely out of their asses for this movie. So this big, huge thing, which Bumblebee turns into a smaller thing, whatever, fine, transform, okay. So the way this thing that is essentially the god of all Transformers, because it created everything, right? It simply gets destroyed by putting it into any of their chest. What?
Yeah.
What?
Also, want to point out the sexual nature of just put it in me, Sam.
Oh man. And the characterization of the Transformers themselves,
terrible.
Like, I don't know. In this, Optimus Prime becomes completely insane after this movie. This movie, he's not that bad. He's like okay, but he becomes pretty much wants to murder every human in the next couple of movies. That's where I'm like, I don't know who this character is. Bumblebee pisses on John Turturro at one point, and the cap is right in his crotch where he goes, and Prime is like, stop lubricating on him, Bumblebee.
We get 2 pissing references in this movie. We get that, and then a dog pisses. And someone says,
on Ironhide. Yeah.
Dog is leaking lubricants.
He's lubricated on me. That's good. I'm going to have to clean that up. And that's Ironhide, who wants to murder everyone in the movie, by the way, on multiple occasions.
And I wish he would, starting with fucking Shia LaBeouf.
Not Michael Bay?
Yeah, no, you know what? Starting with Michael Bay, you're right.
I'm going to murder the director, Prime.
He Sam Witwicky, we must murder Michael Bay.
Oh man. And what else was there too? So
I
Ironhide.
I want to talk about the plot. I want to talk about the whole conceit that fucking Sam Witwicky's great explorer fucking grandfather, whatever the fuck he was, happens upon Megatron in the Arctic and gets the AllSpark location imprinted on his glasses.
Because he accidentally pushes his navigation system.
That is what the fuck?
It's brutal. It's brutal.
This whole movie takes place in the convenience zone.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not what you want.
No, yeah, I don't like that whole. That's all. It's like why?
Yeah.
Why this convoluted, complicated plot that really doesn't need to be that fucking complicated? It's Transformers,
right?
Yeah,
you don't need all this other bullshit.
So things to note down, which we'll need in a couple of weeks because of the idiocy of the third one. So Megatron, just to note, Megatron is locked up in cryo since 1934. Okay.
Yes.
No, whatever. Sam's great grandfather was at it way before that, but in 1934 is when Megatron goes in cryo. Make a note of that because on Dark of the Moon in 2 weeks. Go back to the plot of that because Sentinel Prime Megatron probably should not work out plans to meet up together because they're usually like a couple 100 years off. But we'll save that for in 2 weeks. And Jazz, by the way, Prime G1 Autobot gets ripped in half in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And when Prime notices he's dead, not that big a deal. Oh, we lost a warrior today, an ally. But we've gained many other ones in our human friends.
I didn't like Jazz anyway.
Jazz was an asshole. It doesn't matter.
Jazz owed me $20.
But I'm not racist. Not at all.
It's not a racist thing.
What? Yeah. You don't have to worry about Jazz's bullshit anymore. It's okay. Oh crap. Trying to go through notes here. So on the Decepticon side, besides Megatron being whatever the hell he was, Starscream is in this movie. Not looking like Starscream at all. Is he? But
is he though?
That's weird. Devastator is a tank. And in the second movie, he's not a tank. He's someone completely different. No notes were taken from movie to movie when writing them. That was a little bit strange as well. Other Decepticon weird things that were noticed. Prime and Megatron are brothers in this Michael Bay universe.
Why not?
Because after Megatron dies, Prime is like, "You left me no choice, brother." I don't think he was saying brother as my friend. I kind of think he was being literal.
Ooh, unless he was channeling Hulk Hoganatron.
Yeah,
he was like,
you
left me no choice, brother.
Yeah, he just defeated his mortal enemy. Sorry, brother.
Yeah, that was bizarre. And speaking of Prime, before the end battle that happens with the soldiers that are in this movie, for whatever reason they're in this movie, I think they're supposed to be SEALs or something. I don't think they ever mentioned that's there. Prime disappears for a good half an hour with no explanation of where he went. He just pulls up to the city after the shit's hit the fan, transforms, and he's just back. Why did Prime go to the deli or something? Or do you need to get a tune-up or something?
Car wash, man.
Car wash?
You can't go into battle looking with dirt on you and schmutz.
I guess not. That was strange. They lost track of Optimus Prime conveniently at some point.
I think Prime moonlights as a taxi cab, and he had a call his Uber app dinged, and he's like, "I'm sorry, Sam Witwicky. I must go pick up Kayla G and bring her to the Bronx."
And Ironhide's rolling all over the place during the last battle, constantly just doing fucking rolling maneuvers. I don't know why that keeps happening when he wants to just murder everyone.
Michael Bay.
Yeah. And by the way, in that Autobot scene at the house, we get some bizarre masturbation joke from the mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about the bizarre masturbation joke.
Yeah.
When the parents popped up in the second one, I was like, no, please.
Not again.
Please, I can't do this again.
Oh,
wait, you guys didn't tune in every fucking day when you were kids to watch masturbation jokes on your Transformers cartoon, or piss jokes, or overtly sexual? You didn't tune in for that? Come on, I thought that was the core of the Transformers ethos.
That's why I bought the toys.
That's right.
And by the way, Bumblebee asks his permission to speak and can suddenly speak out of nowhere. Even though Ratchet is supposed to be working on his cords, which I don't know why it takes 60 movies for them to fix that shit.
I know, you think they'd have the technology ready to go.
I would think so, especially with the Allspark. That is kind of the ultimate hand wave that can do whatever the fuck you want it to do. And then the end of the movie I thought was really strange. After the heroes have won and all of this shit, they're gathered around a circle and Prime is talking into the air to other Autobots and sending out this message. Why are Sam and Michaela making out on Bumblebee while the other Autobots are kind of just chilling out?
Why not?
Because Bumblebee likes to watch.
I guess so. Because he's also like nudging Sam to pretty much play Let's Get It On earlier in the movie too.
By the way, I think that is really disturbing. The fact that Bumblebee is like constantly trying to get Sam laid. It's like I don't know. It's like it's if a friend tries to get me laid, it's one thing. If my car tries it, I find it a bit creepy.
Well, that's his friend. Bumblebee is essentially his friend.
I guess, but like I don't know. Friends try to do it more subtly. Bumblebee's like, "Let's get it on," and then locks the door and straps Michaela in. And all right, maybe I'm exaggerating.
That's fine.
Well, what about?
It wouldn't be too far off.
Again, my major complaint about these movies too, the military. This was just a salute to the military.
Every Michael Bay movie is.
It's just a salute to how great we are.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I love the military. Listen, I respect them as much as the next guy, but I don't need them to be saluted for more than half of my Transformers movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, I respect the military. You know what I'd rather see than them being filleted in movies? Them being taken care of when they come back from the wars we send them to.
I was saying, wait till Jason, wait do you see how much worse it gets?
Oh,
yeah. It becomes all about human plot than Transformer plot.
Which is terrible. This isn't called Humans more than meets the eye.
Human formers.
Human formers.
It's like, I'm not only a human, I'm a Decepticon. You know, I like Decepticons. I'm a human trader. Dude, I don't fucking care. I want to see a robot shoot another robot. I don't want to see your bullshit.
See, that's why Rise of the Beast worked for me, because yes, they were humans, but it was a Transformers movie. The human stuff was second. You have to have humans. You always have to have like an avatar for the audience to, connect with. But that movie actually, those Transformers were actually characters. In this, the only character Transformer we get is Bumblebee and Optimus Prime, and their characters suck.
Yeah. So the couple of things that I clocked just to drive home the point that there's no dancing around, that we got a reboot here on our hands currently, thank God, is, Cybertron, by the way, is destroyed in the Michael Bay movies. Right off the bat in the first one. Prime states it that Cybertron doesn't exist. In Rise of the Beast, Cybertron very much exists. Unicron's trying to eat it. Okay?
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, in this movie, this is the first time the Autobots land on Earth. I mean, Bumblebee was there, so you can see loose connection if you want to try to say Bumblebee is connected, which is why I think they left it somewhat vague. But Cybertron also exists in Bumblebee. So if you stated it's destroyed here, it can't exist there as well. So that doesn't really make sense either.
Also, at the end of Bumblebee, he calls all the Transformers, and that's back in the past, and they're only getting here now in 2007. So
doesn't add up again. And also, Prime states that we learned the languages of Earth from the World Wide Web.
I bought it on eBay.
Yeah, that didn't exist when he was speaking English in 1994 and Rise of the Beast.
No, it's all new. It's definitely all new.
I'm just saying, for those, there's some fans who love these movies still, and two of them are on our Pop Culture Pros network. 2.5, because Jader has said he'll try to defend this one and the third one, which me and Tim have already can't stop taking shots at the third one because it's fucking moronic. It's not connected. These movies have been passed on. That's that.
Thank God.
My co-teacher Walter is a huge fan of these movies, but he admits it's all nostalgic because he's younger than us and he grew up with them as a kid. But that's the only way I can see really like having a connection to these movies.
Yeah, but even that, Jay, even that. You know when I was out? Ed, when was I out? You know when I was out.
For these movies?
when they introduced Soundwave. And Jason, you haven't seen
Oh,
the
the
rest of
second
them.
one, and it was
Haven't
the
seen
second
it.
one, right?
Soundwave, I'm sorry to spoil this for you, but I have to tell you,
He's
is
not
a
gonna-
satellite.
What?
He's a big fucking satellite that just sits in space. No body, just a head, and he controls shit.
Why?
Doesn't have the cool voice. I was like, when I seen that, I was like, I'm out. That's my fucking guy right there. I can't do it with that this bullshit anymore.
Again, Michael Bay did not understand this franchise.
No, he admitted that though. I never seen. Did he admit that? I never saw.
No,
a
he's
person before.
proudly like pumped his chest and said that he didn't know anything about the Transformers. His main goal was
And
to
it
get
showed.
them to look like cool cars.
And he failed.
Look, South Park nailed it. Like I said, he goes, "Oh, this is what I want." Pew pew pew. Pew. That's it. And then I want you to do this. Pew pew. Ah, boom. That's it. That's all he does with all those fucking movies. And they nailed him. They nailed him on it for that.
I will still to this day defend a couple of Michael Bay movies, which I loudly said how much I can't stand him as a director. But I'll still give him credit. The Rock, fantastic. I like Bad Boys. Bad Boys 2, not so much, and he didn't direct the third one, so he doesn't get credit for that. And I like Pain and Gain.
I like the last hour of Pearl Harbor, not the first 2 fucking hours of nonsense.
His movies are so long too, and I for no reason though, because I have no problem with a 3-hour movie at all. It's that, but these don't need to be 3-hour movies.
No.
It's almost like he's just not sure what to cut and not cut.
Editing? What?
Yeah, exactly. Whoever edits his trailers, though, they should win a fucking Academy Award because all his movies look absolutely phenomenal
So
in trailers.
I have actually never seen Bad Boys. Is it worth seeing? Because I only here's my Michael Bay. There's The Rock, which I think is a fucking fantastic movie. I don't know how Michael Bay produced that or directed that because it is so good. And then there's like everything else that I've seen him do, which I don't like. Bad Boys is the only one that I might like. Is that something you think I would like?
It's a buddy cop action movie
With
from
Will
the
Smith, who I
mid-nineties.
fucking
It's
adore.
Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. I like the Bad Boys franchise.
All right, I might have to check that out. But other than that, and The Rock, I can't give him credit for anything.
Did you ever see Pain and Gain?
No, I didn't. So I'm
Tim,
being
you
unfair.
didn't like it, right? You didn't like Pain and Gain?
I don't like Painting. I don't like Mark fucking Wahlberg. I just think he's terrible.
Well, The Rock is in Pain and Gain also, and Anthony
okay.
Mackie.
But I'm not a big fan. I thought Bad Boys 3 was the best one. I didn't like 1. I didn't like 2.
Really, you didn't like the first one?
No, I thought Will Smith was terrible actually in that movie.
Oh wow!
Wow. All right, I don't love the second one, but I love the first and third one.
Third one I enjoyed. Third one I thought was kind of like graduated finally. It's like, so like okay, they're like the best scene of course is when they threaten the daughter's boyfriend. That's one of the greatest fucking scenes I've ever seen in my life. That's one of the funniest fucking scenes you'll ever see in a movie. Jason, just watch that scene, and you're good with as far as the franchise goes. But yeah, I wasn't a big. Yeah, the boyfriend comes to the door, and Martin Lawrence answers it, and then Will Smith pretends he's all fresh out of jail and drunk and stuff, and they threaten the kid. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Other than that, I wasn't a big fan of Bad Boys.
All right, so Jason, if you want a little side thing, you watch the 3 Bad Boys movies. I'm kind of curious to know what your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out the first one for sure, before our next show. So that
Yeah,
that'll
if you
be
don't
my-
like,
that'll
if
be
you don't
my-
like the first one, then maybe not.
then I'm not gonna like it.
Bay
So-
directed the first 2. He didn't direct the third one though.
All right, should I start with the third one? No, that would be unfair.
I don't see it.
All right, I'm gonna watch the first one this week, and I will talk about it on my opening segment next week.
Wow, that's a lot of Michael Bay free coming your way, man.
Yes,
Holy
but
shit.
this might be a good thing. This Michael Bay movie might be a good one that offsets the fucking vomit I have to deal with next week with Transformers 2.
Oh, Revenge of the Fallen is
'Cause-
I don't know anyone that defends that movie.
Because Tim, this movie, it hasn't, but this movie almost got a fuck you movie. Almost. It was this close. I was really debating. Next week is definitely getting a fuck you movie.
I'm gonna call it right
Oh.
now. The next 2 weeks, we're gonna get fuck you movie out of you.
I might actually do shots on the show like I did with what I felt was the worst movie we covered, The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
It's in the conversation.
This is close.
Quick thing
Well,
to mention too.
They added. Yeah.
Rachel Taylor plays a character, Maggie Madsen, in this movie. She's the blonde woman who's the analyst for them. she was also in Jessica Jones to tie in further to our
Okay.
comic book thing. So
By the way, I'm looking at Michael Bay's IMDb right here.
Mhm.
He did tons of music videos and
Yeah.
albums and documentaries.
course he
Young
did.
MC, Great White, Winger, Tina Turner, Lionel Richie, Wilson Phillips, Meatloaf. He did all the Meatloaf shit. Then Bad Boys. It's like, how do you jump from Meatloaf to Bad Boys?
Well, because I think that's he got his and I recall he got his start in music videos, which there were some directors who did.
Spike Jonze did the same thing.
I'm just like, but Michael Bay though, I didn't see him coming out with fucking "I will do anything."
Although,
I don't see it. I don't
those
see him doing that.
Those Meatloaf videos are epic, though.
Oh yeah, they
go
are.
back and watch it. And,
they're cinematic stories. Yeah, they're not just a video. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know, but I just wonder because you can clock some directors, what shots they choose and stuff like that, or just color palettes and whatnot. Again, getting film technical now. You can see and you can spot someone's work immediately.
But it's funny. He did The Rock, then Aerosmith, "Fall in Love Is Harder Than These" video, then Armageddon. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor. Then he did Faith Hill, Bad Boys 2, Lionel Richie. This is right on IMDb.
I love that he actually never stopped doing music videos. Most directors go, I'm going to use music videos to break into the films. And Michael Bay is like, I'm going to do it all. I'm going to do shitty movies and great music videos.
It's crazy.
I also, as far as the writers go, so this Orsi and Alex Kurtzman. So those names should pop up too, because I'm trying to look it up through IMDb. They also wrote the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, as well as episodes of Alias, and they did write the second one as well. So there is that.
Didn't Alex Kurtzman also have to do something with Fringe?
Fringe, and also, Jason, executive producer on The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So it's all connected.
It's all coming back. It's all coming back to me now.
He did that too.
Although Fringe, by the way, Fringe is a great show if anyone hasn't seen it.
Yeah, and Kurtzman also. So they're usually writers. They write a lot of Star Trek together and produce a lot of Star Trek as well.
Also good stuff.
Like newer stuff. So I feel like these dudes are very hit or miss with their writing and producing. Because some of the shit that we hate, they absolutely have complete part.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing: like, we don't know what the direction was. We don't know, like, just because they wrote it doesn't mean they own it. It's like they could have written something and then it was punched up, it was changed, it was whatever. Like, I'd give them the benefit of the doubt because the good stuff that I've seen them do has been really good.
Listen, from now on, they should announce Michael Bay as director of Vanilla Ice's video "Play That Funky Music."
Yes.
That's how I'm announcing it from now on. Remember Michael Bay? Yeah, the guy Transformers. No, play that funky music, Vanilla Ice, 1990.
He really directed that shit. That's awesome.
Yes, it says it right.
Yes.
See, I should have looked this up before I met him. So that I could have went ahead and asked him about it.
I have a new challenge for us, Ed. I'm adding this challenge to our show.
Oh, Jesus.
Every week, in addition to these Transformers movies, we have to choose one Michael Bay directed music video to review as well.
Jesus. Sure.
I mean, we're talking a 3-minute investment.
Yes, I know.
Play that funky music, white boy.
You got Richard Marx, you got Greg Allman, Donny Osmond, Faster Pussycat, the Neville Brothers.
Who's Faster Pussycat?
You got Styx. I mean, you got House of Pain.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I
love that video. That's a great video.
And Vanilla Ice, I Love You. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know either.
Slaughter. I mean, he did a lot of like cool 80s shit. Great White.
All right,
Tina Turner, young MC.
The challenge is thrown down, Ed.
He did great. He did Great White, My, which is one of my favorite 80s hair band songs.
He's done some good music videos. I'm gonna give Michael Bay, like, if Michael Bay just stayed as a music video director and directed The Rock, I could get behind his career.
Fair enough.
But then after Transformers, it was Transformers, Pain and Gain Transformers, 13 Hours Transformers, 6
I didn't like
Underground,
13 Hours either.
6 Underground, and then Ambulance.
I fucking hated 6 Underground.
Honestly, if you just remove the Transformers movies, I'm fine with everything else he did because I'm under no obligation to watch them. Like, that's the thing. This is the only Michael Bay shit I have to watch.
Like I said, Pearl Harbor. The last hour, I'm cool with. If that movie started with the Pearl Harbor invasion, I'm good. That's a great fucking movie. It's the rest of the nonsense you got to put up with for fucking 2 hours. You're like, oh my god, please stop.
Is that Ben Affleck?
Affleck with the worst accent ever. You don't even know what accent that is.
I also didn't like Armageddon either.
I liked Armageddon. Armageddon made me laugh.
I'm in the minority on this. I get it. I don't know.
The only thing Armageddon is the asteroid. It looked like I could build a better fucking asteroid in my backyard right now. It'll look more realistic. Other than that, I actually enjoyed that movie.
The only thing that saves Armageddon for me is Steve Buscemi. I love that Steve Buscemi's in.
Yeah, and he's a genius. That's what I like about it. He's a hidden genius who fucking works on oil rigs because he likes it.
Yeah, right, exactly. which I like. I think someone pointed out like it would be easier to train astronauts to work an oil rig than it would be to train oil riggers to be astronauts.
Yeah. And Affleck said during the what was it? There was one of the Kevin Smith when they did the watch the movie, whatever the fuck's it called? When you watch the
commentary?
The commentary, yeah. Someone said that to him, and he goes, "Fuck off! It was a stupid movie." Affleck got annoyed. I gets annoyed at that. He's like, "Oh, fuck off."
That's awesome.
All right, so that pretty much wraps it up for us this week. Thanks for joining us. If you're joining us on the Facebook live stream, be sure to check out the Pop Culture Pros Facebook group and also popculturepros.com. And check out Granny's Peach Tea's Facebook group as well. We share a bunch of trailers and other cool stories that don't really make the show, so check that out. If you're checking us on YouTube, subscribe to Pop Culture Pros, and Twitter, follow at Pop Culture Pros as well. We will be back next week. A new episode of My Adventures with Superman, as well as Secret Invasion, and the movie will be Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. Jason will probably lose his mind. This is the first time I've seen it in quite a long time. I bought it on Blu-ray. I watched it once or twice. I literally threw it in the garbage. So I'm regretting that now because now I'm gonna have to find a way to watch it for free. I do regret that decision just for this 1 week.
Wait, I may have it. I'm pretty sure I bought 2.
All right. Text me and let me know. I will literally come pick it up if it avoids me having to spend $3.
Yeah, I don't want you spending money on it. Let me see if I have it or not.
You can't spend money on these movies.
No.
Michael Bay must be stopped.
Or if someone's got a Paramount Plus subscription, you can send that password my way. I think they're on that.
Oh, these on Paramount Plus?
I think they are right now.
Okay.
Revenge of the Fallen's on HBO actually.
Oh,
yes,
even better. There you go.
Max. It's on Max. It's one of the featured movies of the month. It's like why? Why is it featured?
Because the universe is saying, Ed, don't spend $4 on this movie. All right. So, check out all the other cool shows on Pop Culture Pros as well. Tim, he's got Just Too Sweet show, Unsportsmanlike Conduct as well. So, check that out. And also A to Z.
I plan on finishing. I've got to get back in because I lost my login information because I'm on a new computer. I'm going to fix my new computer or get the new login information. Either way, we are finishing Double O Deep Dive while my wife is away. So watch out for that in the next 2 weeks. I got about 2.5 weeks to do that. I'm going to be connecting with Ginny, getting my login information back. So watch the website because Double O Deep Dive is going to be doing Diamonds Are Forever and the Michael Bay classic, The Rock, at some point. So because that is an unofficial, possibly official James Bond movie. And I'm going to say, as much as I hate Michael Bay as a director, The Rock is fucking awesome.
The Rock is awesome. Michael Bay taking over Pop Culture Pros. No one saw this coming. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
I wish you luck, Jason. I wish you luck.
Man, Jason's watching The Rock, Bad Boys, all the Transformers movies. The plot twist is this is a Skrull Jason who loves Michael Bay more than anything in the world. That's the big plot twist.
Wasn't Leonard Nimoy the Fallen? Or was he in the third
one?
The Dark Side of the Moon.
Wait, Leonard Nimoy's in one of these movies?
Leonard Nimoy is Sentinel Prime.
Sentinel Prime. I know he was
in the
one of
third
them.
one. Well, he was also Galvatron in the 86 movie.
Yeah, but I'm saying Leonard Nimoy in these movies doesn't help at all. You're thinking Leonard Nimoy, all right. You're like, no, it does not help at all.
Leonard Nimoy and Dr. McDreamy over there are in the third one.
Oh, Dr. McDreamy's in the holy shit. What cast, man? The cast of these movies are insane.
It's just everything else that's bad about it. Everything else.
All right, so we'll see you guys next week. Peace.